what do you want to see happen with WMSCOG? And a lot of people say, I want it destroyed. I want it gone, demolished, right? I'm a little different. I want it to change. And here's what I mean by change. So we know Armstrong very well. We know the Worldwide Church of God extremely well. But in regards to like restoring the feast first and keeping the feast, etc. But the story that I find is actually more interesting than that is what happened to the Worldwide Church of God. No one talks about what happened to the Worldwide Church of God. There's a reason why you can't go to a Worldwide Church of God nowadays.
Yeah.
And the reason is because decades ago, I believe this was after Armstrong died, all these elders, these high position leaders, so they would be like in a WMSCOG sense, like pastors, right? Missionaries, elders, like really high up members, ranking members. They were starting to be asked questions by the congregation, like, hey, we're reading in Romans and Ephesians and Hebrews and Galatians that it doesn't seem like we need to keep the law. Like it seems like we're going contrary to what the Bible's teaching. But instead of the elders in the Worldwide Church of God gaslighting them, lying to them, manipulating them, they actually took those concerns seriously. And they're like, oh, that's a good point. Let's look into it. And so they came together, all the leaders came together, and they discussed this for quite a while. And they were looking through scriptures. They were analyzing doctrine, analyzing what they taught, analyzing what scriptures say, what early church history said, etc. And they came to the conclusion that it is by grace and faith that you are saved, not by works of the law.
Of course. And
so they came to that realization, and they made the choice, because they were like, well, because you have to remember, Worldwide Church of God was extremely popular. It was extremely wealthy. It was extremely influential, like a powerhouse that the WMSCOG wishes they could be. Right, campuses all over, like outreach all over, like tons of money, like tons of money. They did very well, but they decided to follow truth instead. And so what they did was they came out and they said, guys, we taught you wrong. We messed up. It's by grace that you're saved. It is by faith that you're saved. And they even came out like, we don't know what's going to happen with this information, but we don't know. Like, we're just keeping the Sabbath because we know how to keep the Sabbath. But I'm not going to say I'm going to keep Christmas because I don't know yet. I'm not going to say I'm going to go to Sunday keeping church yet because I don't know yet. But at least they had the humility and the heart to actually attempt to do what is right. And so that's why it broke off into different sects. It broke off into, of course there were some that still kept the old way, right, as these things happen, but majority, they became faith and grace-based churches, right? They lost all the funding, they lost all their money, they had to close campuses, but they wanted to do what the scriptures said. And it caused great chaos, it caused great pain, it caused great sorrow, it caused great destruction, if you will. But yet they chose to do that, to be reborn and at least be on the correct path to follow God, to have faith and grace instead of this burden of the work of the law. And so now they're called, Grace Community International or something like that. There's a couple of different ones. There's actually one in Salt Lake City, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so they repented, they came clean, and they admitted their mistakes, and they changed for the better. And honestly, that is my goal for the WMSCOG.